So let's go to another story which we want to cover, and something I'm kind of going back in time. So can you see my screen?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see
Okay.
Nexo Bank right now.
Yeah, let's go to, is it EXO? It doesn't matter what, but give you an example. I think it was like 4 years ago where I got an account with BlockFi. I like the concept that if you're a believer, obviously, in Bitcoin and the future appreciation, and obviously that has to be valid because some people don't believe that. So obviously that you wouldn't be a good fit for this. And if you didn't own Bitcoin or certain cryptocurrencies, that wouldn't be a good fit either. So this is for Bitcoiners. The whole concept is this: say you'd like to buy a new car. I don't know, you want to buy some socks or whatever you want to do, and you don't want to sell your Bitcoin even though it's appreciated. So the current price of Bitcoin is 97,000, and it was last November it was 34,000. So you would have lost half your Bitcoin if you bought some socks a year ago. So, so or if you bought a car and you sold Bitcoin and you got 40,000, that Bitcoin would be 80,000 today. So what would you prefer? Selling Bitcoin, buying a car for 40,000, or borrowing off your Bitcoin and having 80,000 in the bank? I think the latter. You agree?
Yeah.
I know it seems a little obvious, but sometimes um, the whole concept of Bitcoin getting loans, of using collateral, Bitcoin is kind of foreign. So let's just go to.
I think it's very simple, but the challenging part is just executing on maintaining your belief. Because if you don't maintain your belief, then what's to keep you from holding or not holding, I should say.
Yeah, actually, I saw a YouTube video yesterday, and the guy says, "Man, I bought Bitcoin when it was $100, and it went to 1,000. And I thought I was a genius, and then it dropped to 200, and I thought, oh shit, maybe I got in too high." So yes, if you think of that belief, it continues through time. Is it too high to get in now in Bitcoin when it's 97? Well, if you think it's going to drop to 50.
Well, it's scary because there's scary for people, I should say, in the sense that there are people out there that are still very much in that like moment. They're saying, "Hey, it's 100K. Have I missed the boat?" And I'm like, if you're asking that question, I think the bigger concern is that you don't understand that you're far, far from it, having
Yes,
missed the boat.
exactly. You do research, find out what Bitcoin means, what it is. If you feel it's an asset that's going to appreciate forever and it'll be worth in the millions, then obviously 97,000 is cheap. And if you go back in time, every time you'd see, oh, yeah, it is cheap. So let's look at this. So there's three components. So if you want to borrow, say, a personal loan, one of the problems with BlockFi and Celsius is that they take custody of your Bitcoin. So, the term, not your keys, not your coins. So that's what happened to them. And the second piece of the equation was they wanted to give you amazing returns of interest on your loan, or not your loan, your actual assets. And so they started taking risky bets and investing your Bitcoin. So that has changed with these new companies. And I've forgotten the term for using your collateral to invest. Is it, the term? Is
Using collateral to invest, like
taking somebody's collateral, like
collateralized loan,
no, rehypothecation. Yeah.
rehypothecation. Basically double utilization of this. Your Bitcoin is collateral, but then it's being utilized because you don't hold uh, ownership through a private key, and it's being double used in a sense.
Yeah, so that's the problem happened to them, and they actually invested in FTX, all the companies that took a dive with FTX, including BlockFi and Celsius. Well, Celsius was another story. And the funny thing is, just before that collapse that year, I'd gone to a convention, Bitcoin convention in Vegas, and I actually met him. I forgot what his name is, and he was smiling like a cat that just caught the mouse, because the company was doing so well. They were growing. And I remember he had a woman from Israel that just joined him, and she's the one that kind of got me the interview with him. And then it all collapsed because they had no idea. They weren't keeping track of their books. They were just flying wild. And the thing about Bitcoin is when things are going straight up, everything looks good. When it collapses or crashes for a bit, which it always does, then everybody loses it. So apply for a loan.
So then, yeah, how does that work? I mean, what kind of loan to value can you get? Or I mean, assuming that's a factor when you're looking at a loan here.
Well, there's one company, I forgot what it was, but you guys have to do your own research. Is the loan to value, the maximum is 50%. And in this case here, let's see, you want to make a large purchase, learn about a business loan. Okay, borrow low, and that's 8 to 14%. So always keep the perspective. Then when we look at these percentages in terms of your cost, they're in dollars. So the way I look at dollars, and I don't mind spending them because I see no value in dollars. If you keep that mindset, but there's one company if you do certain things, the rate goes down to zero, but the LTV is only 20%, which I think is really cool. If you get zero interest and get 20%, okay. And what saved me back with BlockFi is I actually.
Well, that sounds almost like a near free loan. I mean, I'm assuming there's maybe an origination fee, but I like the sound of that.
Yeah, and the thing about this, and I did this because it's a year, so you've got a year to pay off the loan, but then you can refinance it again. So that's why I did it with BlockFi. And what I did with them is I just took out half of the money. So half the money was in the bank. So when they collapsed, I potentially only lost half of it. They finally settled and gave us back our money because Bitcoin had gone so much higher in price. So that's one way to cover the risk of the loan is you're only risking 50%. If you take 50% out, it's a 12-month.
Just to clarify, okay? So you took a loan and you immediately pulled out half of it, is what you're saying?
Well,
or you pulled out half after the collapse in cash
no.
or fiat?
So I put it in there, and they were giving me, I think, 5 or 6%, which is reasonable. I don't think anybody is trying to give you 14% is legit. And so as soon as I had the BTC in there, I just applied for a loan. I asked for 50%. They had a cash balance in my account, and I just transferred it to my bank.
Oh, got it. You opted for a loan with a 50% loan to value.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay.
And you would get notices if the fact that you are not at that 50%, if you're going like 50, you either sold some Bitcoin and you just put more dollars into that account. So here it looks like they charge 8.9 to 14.4. That seems kind of high. But here's the concept. If you do think that Bitcoin is going to keep on going higher and you don't want to spend it, but you want to buy stuff, you want a lifestyle change, you want to buy a car, you want to buy, it says farm equipment or whatever, complete a home project. So that's the whole concept of this. And again, do your research and don't, what's the word to use? Don't try and find out, because the thing I told you about so one of the companies does a multi-sig. So what happens is they cannot send your Bitcoin anywhere unless you sign as well. So back then,
not only that, but do you know if it's, what would you call it? Like when you have more than one key, is that just multi-sig?
Well, there's only one key, but that you can require multiple signatures for anybody to transact with that Bitcoin.
With that, with that specific wallet. Okay.
So that's one thing. And I'm looking into again, but I think these are the key components. You don't want to sell your Bitcoin. You need some cash right now. stick to companies that do the 50% or lower. And I forgot the one that did the zero. And it's something where you have to buy their tokens and participate in
Uh,
something. It was some kind of, and then obviously once they go to a 20% LTV, they feel pretty comfortable, that the chances of Bitcoin going, it have to go down like 90%. So they feel pretty safe with that.